Hello everyone, this is Valdemar from Roller&Ride TV, and today I want to be talking about my coaster trip I had this year in the summer of 2025. So, my parents, knowing that I'm a coaster enthusiast, decided to surprise me this year with a huge theme park trip through Germany, Holland, Belgium, so on. We started by taking the car from Denmark all the way over to where Heidi Park is. And then we stayed at a hotel, and slept, and then we went to Heidi Park. So Heidi Park is a huge park. It was so fun, such a good experience. And the first thing that we did was Desert Race, because I was like, Desert Race has a hydraulic launch. They usually go down, so I was like, we need to get to Desert Race. So we ran to Desert Race, got 2 rides on that. I have to mention, I did have a fast pass, unlimited, so I could ride everything with fast pass. Desert Race was great, definitely one of the best rides at Heidi Park. After doing that a few times, we went over to Colossus, which was actually not as good as I'd thought, because I thought Colossus was way smoother, but it ended up not being that smooth. But it was pretty good. It was pretty fun. Then we went over and tried Toxic Garden, which it was painful. It hurt, and the rattle is just horrible. I hate everything about this ride. And funny thing, me and my dad wanted to go on Flug der Dämonen, but then we entered the wrong queue line for a dark ride scare thing. It was really weird. We rode it, and it was kind of quirky. It was like weird and fake. We did end up going on Flug der Dämonen and Bop-On, Big Loop. Big Loop was really bad. And then we went on Crake. Well, I did. My dad didn't, because Crake had a 45-minute queue the entire day, but I had Fast Pass, which was basically a walk-on. This park was great. I really liked Heidi Park. And it's basically a full circle around the water, and it was just great. Heidi Park was super awesome. Also, because like Colossus, the actual monster statue, it actually spits fire, which is just insane. Like, the detail is just cool. The theming was good. The storytelling was also good. Honorable mentions is gonna be Scream, their drop tower, which I did. That was pretty good. It's gonna be their monorail, which goes throughout the entire park, so you can see the entire resort. And it's gonna go ahead and be the little swing ride next to where Colossus is. That ride was also pretty fun, because for some reason it went super fast. I don't know why. It was just flowing like hell. Yeah, and I'm gonna give some nominations now for Heidi Park. So, for my favorite coaster at Heidi Park, I give it to Flug der Dämonen. This thing is sick. It was my first wing coaster of the time, and it was just like, it was super cool. It was flowy, it was smooth, it had the airtime, it had the inversions, it had the positive G's. The vests didn't bother me that much. I mean, I'm a tall person. They were a little bit tight on the shoulders, but they were still pretty good vests. And definitely the best seat for it was the back row on the right, the inner seat, because the outer seat, it had a bit of a rattle, which every wing coaster has. So, but it was just super good. Now the next nomination is the best flat ride I tried that day, which goes to Scream. They're 100-meter tall drop tower, and I'm like a big fan of drop towers, so Scream was pretty good. You could see the entire park. It had a high capacity. Of course, I had Fast Pass. I went through the entire queue, but from what I was seeing, it was not that long a ride, and you could see the entire park. It was a really good ride, and like the restraint system is pretty cool, and yeah, the operations at Haida Park are super good. And the third one is the second best coaster that I like, and that goes to Desert Race, not Colossus. There's a few reasons why. Because Desert Race, the launch is amazing. All the little hills, they give so much airtime, it's sick. And like the turns, they have a lot of positive G's, and it was super smooth. Like it was insanely smooth. While Colossus was, I'd heard better things, but it was not that good. The only thing about Desert Race is I had heard, because of the launch, it's probably gonna go down in the midday. That's why we went on it in the morning, and it actually did end up going down for like 4 hours before opening the final 3 hours of the park. But Haida Park was really good. I'm gonna give that a 9 out of 10. Next up, we went to Köln. Pretty nice place, I guess. It was pretty cool, pretty fun, pretty chill. It was not like overly good or overly bad. We saw the big ass church, which, you know, nice, cool. And then the next day we went to Fantasyland, which was like one of my top bucket list parks for a while. Fantasyland looked absolutely gorgeous. So we went to the park, but we drove a little bit too early because we had to wait an hour before they actually opened the gates. They did open the gates a little bit early, which is nice. We went in, we had of course booked the tickets online, and then we immediately ran to Rookburg, the place where Fly is. We looked at it, it was super beautiful, and we figured out that Fly opened an hour later. Dang it. So we went on their weird dark ride themed to rats and cake. It was actually really good. I didn't know they had it, and my mom was like, yo, let's go on that ride, and I was like, sure. And it ended up being pretty good. Even my grandma liked it. And then we went up to the African area where we found out that Black Mamba was actually open, but Talakan was closed. So that's just perfect. We went on Black Mamba, me and my dad, in the front row, and let me just tell you, I had heard that it was whippy and smooth. It was whippy, but it was really fucking rough. Holy hell, that one hurt. But the whip was crazy. Now, I've not tried this in the back row, because if I had, then it would maybe, there's a chance that it could be smooth in the back row, and of course, it's probably even more whippy in the back row. Which is just sick. Yeah, and then we went back to Rookburg. We got that first ride on Fly. I sat with my mom in the back row, and Fly was really good. The first time around, I thought it was crazy good. It was really fun. Instantly one of my top coasters, which was pretty nice. And then after Fly, we went over to the kids area where we went on Winge's Fear first, which I like better than Winge's Force, which we went on after. Me and my dad went on Crazy Bats, and this is where me and my dad split up to go on the more extreme things, and my grandma, mom, and little sister went off to do the more chill things. So we did Crazy Bats because I wanted the credit, but they didn't know Crazy Bats was a thing, so they entirely skipped it. And Crazy Bats is like, it's a great ride, but it's definitely made for families. It's not like one of those extreme coasters. And then we decided to be like, yo, let's check the time for Terran. An hour and a half. I was like, bro, what the hell? So we decided to go buy 2 fast passes, because their fast pass thing works a little bit differently. We went in the fast pass queue, and my first ride was in the back row. I had thought that I would like Fly more than Terran, and I was more hyped for Fly than Terran. And I was like, when I went on Fly, I was like, that was super good. Oh, Terran might not be as good, but then I went on Terran, and it was just 50 times better for some odd ass reason. It was more comfortable, it was a longer ride, better ride, more forceful ride. It was really whippy, it was really aggressive. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And when we came out of the Fast Pass queue, the queue time had dropped from an hour and a half to 5 minutes for normal queue. Yeah, I don't know why. So me and my dad went in that. We got a few more rides. I did some solo rides on it with the single rider. I don't recommend you use the single rider on Terran because it's actually pretty slow. So I only used that like twice, and then I just used normal queue, which ended up being faster for some reason. Then we decided to get lunch. We got it at some Chinese place in the Chinese area. It was really good. And then we met up with my mom, my grandma, and my little sister again. Then we went on Colorado Adventure, which I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, pretty forceful for like a family coaster. But for some reason, the rest of my family were like, that was super rough and stuff. I don't know why. I mean, maybe because I sat alone on that one and I got a good seat. I don't know. I only tried it once. Then Terran, and Terran, and Terran, and Terran, and Terran. Then we split up again. Me and my dad went back riding Terran again. And then we went on Mystery Castle, which was, holy hell, that was an amazing ride. Like, that was super great. And then we saw Fly 10 minutes. We ran over to Fly. We ran over to Fly. Did that. Then after that, we went back on Black Mamba because we were like, yeah, maybe if we get a different row, it might be smoother or more whippy. Guess what? We get the same 2 seats in the front row as we got before. So, yep. It was still the same rough ride. Yeah, we got the exact same seats. So, yeah. We went back on Terran a few more times. In total, I got 10 rides on Terran, I think. And here's the thing. You're gonna be like, why didn't you go back on Fly? I was like, after the second time on Fly, my neck hurt so bad. Because Fly, the thing about it is, it's a flying coaster. So your neck is gonna be tilted up, and my neck just hurt. Like, I really couldn't go on Fly. It was the same for my dad. He had like neck problems before, and he was like, the first time he was like, hurt a little bit. And the second time it really hurt. So we never got back on Fly. For some reason, I never felt it on my first ride in the back row, but the second ride in the front, there's a cool thing, because on Terran, I went on single rider, where it was only me in that queue, and then I got I had just entered the queue, and I get the first train with single rider, from in the queue, and I get the front row, so that was pretty cool. And then I go back in the single rider queue, because there's no one in it. And then I get the front row again on the next train. That was sick. So it's nearing the end of the day. Apparently Chappas had been closed the entire day. So me and my dad, we go up and we're like, yeah, Chappas and Talican have been closed. When are they gonna open? Apparently Talican opened like 2 minutes like before that. So it was a 6-minute queue. We ran over, got a ride on Talican. That was great. One of the best flat rides I've ever been on. It might be my second favorite flat ride I've ever been on, right behind Tic Tac at Tivoli Gardens, which is just insane. And then Chappas opened. We just got off. We met with the rest of my family, and we were like, when is Chappas opening? So we went over to the entrance, and then we see a guy standing there, like, with the close sign, and we just asked him, yo, is it opening? And he's like, yeah, in 2 minutes. What the hell? That was crazy. We get in line. Sadly, we did have to go to the bathroom, so when we got back, there was a long queue, like 20 minutes. We got in, we rode Chappas. The first thing Chappas does is it tilts out of the station. And let me tell you, all the water from in the boat tilted into my shoes. So I had wet shoes the entire ride. And we got so wet. Unlike the smaller drops, it was just like water all over. It was super wet. the backward section, instead of coming like over your lap, it comes over your back. And the big drop, it's like when you actually land on the big drop, it's like, that wasn't that bad. But then you sink down again, and a whole like massive water just comes all over, and I was like super wet. Now, here's the thing. My mom, she went on Fly, and she was like, I want to go on Terran, but I have a headache. Sad. People get headaches. I also get headaches. So I was like, Mom, if we go on Terran together with the final Fast Pass that we had not used, then we can go home right after. So we went on Terran. I was still wet there. My mom said that was actually one of the best rides she had been on. She thought it was really fun. She just couldn't do it anymore because her head hurt, which is respectable. And then we went home half an hour earlier because I had promised her. But here's the thing. I found out because when we were going out, I was like, I'm gonna get one more ride on Fly. I go in and I see, yeah, Fly closed an hour early. So yeah, perfect. Just to end the day. Yeah, Fantasyland was great. Everything, the theming, the rides, everything was super awesome. 10 out of 10 park. Now it's to the nominees. My favorite ride, of course, has to go to Terran. It was sick. It was crazy. Love it, love it, love it. It was so good. And now we come to my favorite flat ride. It is a two-way tie between Mystery Castle and Talocan. Because Talocan was fun and cool and a long ride, but it didn't really have a story. And I'm a sucker for stories, which Mystery Castle had. And it's like the rides are just as good, but Mystery Castle has the story, and Talocan actually has a bit more ride that I like to it. So I'm gonna give it a two-way tie. Yeah, because they're probably just as good, although in my rankings I put Talocan over. I might change it, because my ranking changes basically every day. Yeah, so after that, after Fantasyland, we slept at a hotel, and then we went to Belgium. And I was like, can we please go to Plopsalandia for Rides Happiness? Like 3 years before this trip. And they were like, sure, let's go. So we wanted to go, and we checked on the app the day before we went. Holy shit, an hour and a half queue for Rides to Happiness? Come to find out, it was Plopsalandia's 50-year anniversary, so that's why. Because I had heard it was like Rides to Happiness has no queue, and it was like great, just great. And then we wake up the next day, and my mom's still feeling ill. So my mom, my little sister, and my grandma decided to stay with her the entire day in Belgium, and then only me and my dad went to Plopsaland. So we get to Plopsaland an hour early for some reason, because yeah, we just had to sit there. I was so excited, my heart was pounding so much that I almost had a panic attack. So that was pretty cool. We get in the park half an hour early, which was nice, but then the gates were still open. They opened the gates, we run over to Rides Happiness. First ride, back row. After the first ride, I was like, do I like this or Velocicoaster more? Because the first ride of the day was going pretty slow. We get out of queue, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to ride that way more later in the day. I just want to get all the credits. We go over to Heidi the Ride. It has a 20-minute queue for some reason, so I'm like, oh, Rides Happiness might get a 40-minute queue maybe later. So after Heidi, Heidi was pretty good. It was pretty smooth, actually. So yeah, it was pretty good ride. We go to K4 Roller Skater, where me and my dad wanted to sit together, but they were like, bro, you're not gonna fit. So they assigned my dad to a second row. And let's just say, those cars are not built for me, 185 centimeters tall dude, because it hurt. I have long legs. My knees legit had like blue bruises on them after the ride. It hurt. We went on K4 Roller Skater, the big water ride that is not a roller coaster. It's not a roller coaster, it's a water ride. We went on Anubis, and I'd heard that Anubis was smooth. I'm telling you, it was not smooth. It hurt my head, although I'm like so tall to the point that over the shoulder restraints sit right over my shoulders with like a centimeter between my shoulders and the actual restraints. And it's like, it still really hurt. We actually went on Anubis twice, because after that we were like, maybe it's smoother in the back. We went on the back. It was not smoother. It was actually more rough in the back for some reason. We went back on Heidi because it was on 2 minutes. So it's like, yeah, it's great. We went in the queue. It's an instant like walk into the station. Yeah, it was a breakdown. Apparently the train wouldn't dispatch. So a mech guy comes in. He's like, oh, well, maybe because you've turned it to maintenance mode. Legit, he said it in English, not like, which was pretty cool because I can understand English. So yeah, that got fixed. We wrote that. We went back to Ride to Happiness, and I wrote that for the rest of the day, except for, you know, lunch and stuff. Because it was on 0-minute queue the entire day. It had warmed up, instantly turning to my favorite roller coaster. Ended up with 52 rides on it in total. I counted. Also, because I had a watch on, and my watch has like a thing where you can press to count stuff. So yeah, 52 rides on it. My dad ended up going with me on it 3 times. One unique thing was one of the times where I rode it in the front, and the audio broke. Like, there was no audio. I could hear the audio very little from the second like car. So yeah, that was pretty unique. But then I get on the same train the next ride in the front again, and then the audio is working. So they got it working, which is pretty good, pretty nice for them. They got it out working. So yeah, that was a pretty successful day. Then we decided to go to Holland, where we spent a few days not in theme parks, and then we go to the little park called Dunrell. We had 3 days here. The first day was in the outdoor water park in the theme park. Second day, indoor water park. Third day, only theme park. I mean, you could always go into the theme park. So the first day, I got all the free credits. I've been on a bunch of Gerstlauer Eurofighters. And Falcon, I was like, all Eurofighters I've been on are rough. Please don't be rough. It was actually really smooth in the back, which was my first ride. I then went on it again in the front, and it was probably one of the roughest rides I've ever tried. Dragonfly, yeah, it was fast for its model, but it was kind of boring. And then there was also the little Kikaraktaban. It was just boring. The clearance was not long enough because I had my hands up and I like slammed into like a bush or a tree or something. I mean, it didn't hurt because Kikarachaban goes like 2 miles an hour. They had a Gerstlauer like Skyfly, that was pretty cool. They had a water ride where I got so wet on it was insane. And they had a top spin, which was pretty cool. And then the water park was mid. I've been to better water parks, I will say that. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to do the nominees for the final 2 parks, so they're gonna come now. For Plopsaland, the nominee for my favorite ride at the park is, of course, Ride to Happiness. 52 rides, my favorite coaster ever. It's insane. I'm obsessed with this thing. I bought merch. The merch was really expensive. Like 50 euros for a t-shirt. Holy shit. That was like my entire merch budget. Because I was like, Plopsaland was one of the last parks I went to. So I was like, I'm going to have to save up. So I only bought a few merch pieces from Heide Park. And, well, Fantasyland didn't have any merch for some reason. They really do need some merch. There weren't no like real merch stores, or not that I knew of or went into. So yeah, that was pretty good. My favorite other than roller coaster ride at Plopsaland had to go to the brand new like Wild Swing, the ART Engineering Wild Swing that had come in 2025. It was actually fun because here's the thing. It just seems like a normal swing ride, but when you swing the entire way around, you actually get ejector airtime. It's insane. I'd almost say you get more ejector airtime on that Wild Swing than something like Phoenix at Farouk Summerland. It's insane. And then, of course, my second favorite roller coaster in the park of Plopsaland has to be Heide the Ride, because it's the only like smooth one that doesn't hurt, but it was also a pretty good ride. And then for Dunrell, favorite ride was actually Dragonfly, because it was smooth and whippy, and the Gerstlauer Eurofighter was not that good. My favorite flat ride was their Topspin, and my second favorite roller coaster was, of course, Falcon. Well, that basically sums it up for this long video. And if you're wondering where Will is, yeah, he's in Spain right now, and in a few days he's gonna go to Ferrari Land, ride Red Force. That's cool, and yeah, Portaventura for Shambhala. So please, everyone, wish William luck that no rides will be closed on the days that he goes. He needs all the credits. He really deserves like everything, because I mean, he really hasn't been to that many parks outside of Sweden, and not any like big parks. Like, he doesn't have that many credits. So please, everyone, give this video as much support as possible, and write down in the comments, William, get those credits, because you need to get the credit count up, and you really need everyone's blessings to go to more theme parks. Bye.